What is going on, everybody? I hadn't done a video in a while, so I just kind of wanted to check in. The last major video I did where I was talking was with my interview with Pete Larson, my buddy of Woodstime. You guys hopefully subscribe to his YouTube channel. It's a little windy out here today, but I had a few things on my mind that I wanted to talk about. Pete and I covered a lot of good stuff in our interview, a lot of good topics. There's two things that I kind of wish that we would have went deeper into, and that's what actually hog hunting is with dogs. I mean, I know we touched on it, and how people train their own dogs, like the ways of it. I know, like I said, we touched on both topics, but I wish we would have went a little deeper into it. So that's why I'm talking to y'all now about it. So the Spanish actually brought the wild hogs to the United States back in the day, back in the 1500s. The Eurasian boar is what it really is. And they brought it for a food source, you know, to be here within their travels, because they were settling in, you know, the Spanish conquistadors were conquering everything. And I guess what people don't understand is that the wild hog can breed twice a year. Gestation period is just under 4 months. They can have 6 to 12 piglets per litter, maybe more. Say 8 survive each litter. That's 16 hogs from one hog in 1 year. So that's a lot. So there's many different ways to hunt wild pigs. Like I said, like we said in the interview, you can trap them, you can blind hunt them, stand hunt them, spot and stalk. You can do some crazy stuff out there in Texas and do some helicopter stuff. But a lot of guys, they enjoy hunting them with dogs. That's obviously what we do. A lot of people ask me, well, how do you do it? I mean, how does it even work? Well, I guess to really break it down is you got to have you got to know somebody, or you got to have places to hunt. And you take a young dog, you know, like I said, everybody does it different. So this is where these two topics kind of mesh. You take a young dog, and there's many different ways. You get him to like a hog, you know, stuff like that. Once he's at an age where you can put him in the woods, you know, you run him with the older dogs. And what it is you got your bay dogs or your trail dogs. And bay dogs means dogs that go out and find the hogs, you know, take hot tracks. A lot of these cur dogs that we hunt with are hot track dogs. They're not really like hounds that can take a 2-day-old track. You know, some of them a couple hours, maybe a day at an absolute most, but every dog I've really hunted with is a hot track dog. And what they do is they'll find the hog, and once they find the hog, they'll keep him at bay. You know, this is the pig, you know, they'll bark at him, kind of keep him at bay. Some dogs that are grittier, like we said, will usually find a hog and put teeth on a hog. Some people call them their suicide dogs. But usually that's kind of how it works. You got your trail dogs, your bay dogs, they go out and find the hog. Now, you get close, you drive to it, you walk to it, whatever you do to get to that pig where that bay is, and you're hearing, you're listening. A lot of the other dogs that are out hunting will come to that bark. They're kind of trained to come to that bark once that dog has a hog. So now let's say you've got a couple dogs on the ground, now they're all there. You got 2 or 3 dogs barking at a hog, keeping it at bay. And you get close with your catch dog, which is basically a strong-jawed dog, like a American Bulldog, Pit Bull, Mastiff, even people don't understand, but Great Danes were bred for wild hog hunting. So anything really with a strong jaw is what's used for a catch dog. Now you get close enough. Everybody likes different, you know, distances, but obviously the closer the better, because if you get too close, that hog can break. You know, just because them dogs are barking at it doesn't mean that hog is gonna stay. So say it stays, dogs are baying it, you know, then you turn your catch dog loose. Catch dog comes in, catches it by the ear. Usually that triggers the other dogs to catch. So you finally got your hog caught by the ears with the dogs. You come in, grab it by the legs, flip it, tie it. We use mule tape, flat rope. We tie their legs together. Some guys like to come in and kill them right away, but it doesn't matter. Everybody does it differently. So that really is in a short version of how we kind of do it. Now this gets into the next topic of how, or what different styles of hog hunting, how people train their dogs. Everybody is different. There's not one right way, there's not one wrong way. One thing I like about the whole art of hog hunting is that you can learn so much different stuff. I think some people like to be kind of closed-minded to different styles of hunting, especially when it comes to dogs. You know, they've hunted, say, ground and pound style of hog hunting with dogs their whole life. Then they start hunting with guys with wind dogs, which are, you know, dogs that like to stand on the truck or the buggy or wherever, and they use more of their wind. You know, you save their energy that way. So some guys are closed-minded to that, but I feel like, this is just my personal opinion, that if you meet somebody new or you get to know somebody that hog hunts with dogs, and you know, you guys become friends and you start hunting together, I think you should always have an open mind and a accepting attitude towards different styles of hog hunting. Because wherever people hunt, they may have to use wind dogs. They hunt big properties. They can't ground and pound all day, all night. Then dogs will be wore out. So they use wind dogs. Now you get, like we were talking about in the interview, you hunt smaller properties. You want a kind of shorter range dog. You know, a dog that kind of stays closer in, doesn't hunt too far out. Like the bigger properties, you want a longer range dog, a dog that's going to go out there and find one. But the shorter range properties, you know, you can, or the smaller properties, you know, the thicker heads and stuff like that, you want a dog that, you know, ground and pound. Some guys like to keep their dogs on the ground for a certain amount of time, then put them up, you know, save their energy. But like I said, I think a lot of people are very closed-minded to different styles and hunting different ways. And I think if you open your mind to it, you can learn a few things. Like I said, that's what the joys of it is learning new stuff and getting to see how these guys hunt, and these different dogs, you know, different breeds. That kind of is like a little bullet under that where it gets into training. And I think Pete and I did touch on that a little bit, is everybody trains differently. My way isn't the right way. His way or her way might not be the right way either. It all depends on what works for you and where you hunt. What I like to do is I like to get a young dog. You know, everything in my kennel, besides I think 1 or 2 dogs, I've raised. To me, it's more satisfying to watch that dog from this big grow up to this big and know that, oh, I helped that dog become that dog. So you get a little puppy, you just let him be a dog for a little while. When you get to about 4 months to 6 months old, somewhere in there, you're going to start kind of showing them a hog. You show them a little piglet, and you kind of make them feel like Superman. You don't want to show a 4-month-old puppy a 300-pound boar hog, because he'll never want to do it again. You'll ruin him. So you want to make them feel like Superman. So little by little, you show them bigger hogs as they get older and more confident. Now, once they get to that size where you feel like you can start running them with the older dogs, then you start putting them in the woods. The best teacher for that dog is the older dogs. And that, you'll watch the progress go from here to here within a couple months once you start running them with the older dogs. You get them to where they like a hog, you know, showing them a hog, get them to bark at it, you know, maybe catch a little bit. Then you do some like trailing training. Everybody does that different, where you lay tracks out for them dogs to smell and get the confidence of trailing. And once they kind of got that down pat, and their size, you know, their weight and their stature is where it needs to be, then that's when you put them in the woods. This is my personal opinion. But everybody does it differently. Some guys may not like putting them in for a year. Some guys may like to put them in earlier. Some guys, you know, may way later, 2 years. I mean, I've seen it all the way from 6 months old to 2 years. I mean, it all depends. It all depends on the dog and the genetics too, you know. Some guys say if you wait too long, you can ruin them. Some guys say if you wait too, or you put them in too early, you can ruin them. Yeah, that's true on both ends. So you got to find that sweet spot. So this is where everybody does everything different, and like I said, keeping that open mind is it's a good feature to have as an individual, especially in this world of hog hunting or hunting in general. You know, deer dogs, you know, coon dogs, bird dogs. It's all different ways of training dogs, but it's all the same when it comes to different styles and ways of training dogs, where you have to be open-minded, and you don't want to be hard-headed with that. So those are two of the topics that I really wanted to touch on again. Hopefully I can, if something more comes to mind that I want to talk about more, I'll do another video. But those two right offhand, the styles and the training styles of hunting and ways of training dogs, and the actual art of hog hunting itself with dogs. It has gone and it's changed dramatically throughout the years. Like we said in the video, some of the old timers that didn't hunt with tracking gear, the tracking gear changes every year. It gets better and better and better and better. So you may have some of the older equipment, then you finally decide to upgrade, and you're in this new equipment, and you're like, what is this, man? Touchscreen, Alpha 200, this dog can track up to 20 dogs, blah, blah, blah. It's crazy. But it helps us become better dog men and track our dogs and see property lines and see tracks, watching the dog just go like this on the GPS and it's awesome. So, again, I appreciate the sport. It really means the world to me. I'm trying to, bring to light of what we do. Still trying to get this thing really rolling. Still got some more interviews planned and stuff like that, but it's kind of slowed down a little bit. But I'll get it back going again. And got the Off the Chain Hog Dog shirt on today, representing. Got my buddy Dancing Dogs Ranch. He's out of Texas, Matthew Lushak. Check him out. He's got a website. He's got some really good stuff. He's a good dog man as well. But again, thank you for the support, guys, and I'm going to try to bring the best content I can to y'all. Peace out.